Hello, welcome to another video as part of the position manual. I am going to be showing you today how to work with the PSC Communicator newsletter uh, within Adobe Illustrator. Um, the PSC Communicator newsletter is a newsletter that's put together generally every other week, plus or minus a few days, and is distributed to the PSC audience via mechanisms that we'll talk about in another video. What I wanted to show you today is how to actually work within Illustrator to put this together. The first couple of things, um, uh, Adobe Illustrator probably isn't the best tool to use for this. InDesign would probably be a better tool at some point to move to. It's been Illustrator for a long time because the skill set when we first put this together, we were stronger with Illustrator than we were with InDesign. And also, this newsletter is always one page, and so much of the InDesign um, features and benefits that have to do with multiple pages and super advanced typography we weren't using anyway, and so we decided we're going to go with Illustrator. So a couple things you'll notice. First of all, when you first open the file, you are likely going to be prompted with a bunch of notices about missing fonts. All the fonts that we use in this are stored within the Adobe Typekit. And so if you have a warning that pops up with that, you can go ahead and sync those files and get those typography files um, down to where you need them. So here, looking at the newsletter, as you can see, it's a two-column layout. Um, Off to the sides over here, I have different visual elements that we periodically add to the newsletter. And so those are just essentially off of the artboard over here, and then I can bring them in on an as-needed basis. This isn't actually going to be an Illustrator training, more so as it's going to be a heads up to pay for some things to pay attention to. The typography is all handled via type paragraph styles, and so I'm going to go into paragraph styles here. You can see the regular body copy here is always going to be paragraph. Okay, the headlines here, the main headlines are listed as heading. We also have, if the need arises, a style for subheading, which I can show you what that looks like here. If we go, so you can see subheading changes this in case you need to have a subheading in your newsletter. Any bulleted lists here are handled manually by selecting this text for the list and giving that the bullet list style. The bullets themselves are actually contained within symbols. So let me show you that. So right here, we have a symbol here. So anytime you need a bullet, you just drag that symbol out and you have a bullet. Those are manually dropped in. Again, InDesign would do a better job of doing bullets, but this is the way we have it set up. As far as conventions here, anytime we have text on here that's a link, what we're doing is we're highlighting this text. We're going into our character formatting and we're underlining it. We're also giving it a color swatch of Starry Night blue. That helps those links look more like website links so that people who are viewing this PDF file can click on those and more easily identify them as links. Another convention is typically anytime we have a questions prompt call to action at the bottom, we boldface the term questions. Another convention is even though it doesn't require it, we typically uppercase, or I should say sentence or headline uppercase the email addresses so that they're more easily read. Again, we try to get this to fit to exactly one page. So this is what we affectionately refer to as the game of inches. And so what we'll be doing here is we will copy and paste the content in from however it is delivered to you. Typically, it's a Word document. Paste that into the two-column layout here and mark up the headlines. Typically, we want our headlines to be one line if possible. As you can see here, some of these headlines are long, and so we have them spanning 2 lines. We never go to 3 lines. One of the things we like to do here, just to show a good layout, is when we highlight this, we'll come up here to type and say fit headline. And what that's going to do is it's going to adjust the character width, the kerning, those sort of things on the letters to try to get it to fit to one full width line. After doing that, it becomes a manual process, again, the game of inches, where we actually make some adjustments to the paragraph styles in order to get it to fit. And so, for example, let's pretend that this article over here on the right side stopped there. Well, we don't want to have this gigantic gap of content here. And so what we would do is actually come in here to this paragraph style and make adjustments and say, all right, we're going to make the font size for all of our paragraphs 11, and we're going to adjust the leading to 13. And so what we're doing here is trying to get these columns to fill and not have a gigantic gap at the bottom. Now, as you can see, what happens when we do that, of course, the typography affects the entire document. So now the content on the left column is overflowing, in which case what we might have to do is reorganize the order that the articles are placed in this document. And so that's the general process when working with Illustrator to create these newsletters. Again, it's typography is handled by paragraph styles that cover paragraphs, headings, subheadings, the bulleted list. The bullets themselves, again, are symbols that we drag in. We make some changes to the typography to boldface certain things, obviously making links look like links. And again, we're trying to achieve that one full page look, which is a very coveted thing. And so there is very often some time put into getting that to line up perfectly. So that's about it. The next stage in this process is to take this over into Adobe Acrobat and get it prepared to post online. And that will be a separate video where we talk about posting the PDF file into the content management system and then delivering the notification via email. Thanks.